What's up, YouTube? What's up, Instagram? And hello, Facebook. I don't have a lot of time. I'm a little rushed today, but I think that's kind of fitting for the topic I want to talk about today. And that is my 2-minute rule and how I use it to avoid procrastinating and to avoid feeling unproductive. The reason I decided to talk about this today is because I was at the gym this morning. Hey, Jessica, how are you? Today I was at the gym this morning. Chris, what's up? And I was just really tired and I didn't want to do anything. And I was just really tired. And so I do this thing in my head for when I don't want to do things. And if you're a realtor, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're just a regular person, everyone has times in their life where they don't want to do things. We feel tired, we feel lazy, it's really easy to come up with excuses for why you don't want to do things. But those excuses, when you let them win, hey, Tanya, when you let those excuses win, that's when they have control. And that's when you are really just preventing yourself from achieving your goals. So I used this trick for myself at the gym this morning, and I'm going to tell you what happened. And then I was thinking, I do this all the time in my business, and it has helped me grow so rapidly, build a multi-million-dollar real estate business, build a huge team, become top at EXP for agent attraction, become top producing agents, all of these amazing things that we've been able to do. A lot of the times, just to be perfectly transparent, I did not feel like doing the things that I needed to do for my business to do those things. I think there's a common misconception for when you look at successful people, whatever that means, people that are further ahead than you or have more than you or do better than you, do more than you, whatever it is. It's easy to be like, oh, well, that's just them. But the truth is we're all human beings and we all struggle with the same things. In my experience, the more quote successful I've gotten, it's just I've gotten better at, so to speak, slaying those monsters, the monsters of excuses, the monsters of procrastination, the monsters of imposter syndrome, feeling bad about myself, whatever those things are that used to hold me back, and I would just stop doing it. Now I have these tricks. So I wanted to share my 2-minute rule. I'm going to tell you what happened at the gym. So I went to the gym. I was like, I am so tired this morning, but I'm going to go. And my rule for myself was I said, I'm just going to lift for 2 minutes. Now, this came from there's a very popular piece of advice, or I guess system, rule for working out, especially for new people working out. It's like, just drive to the gym. Just drive to the gym. You don't have to even go in. But then, once you're at the gym, probably you're like, well, I made it all this way. I might as well just go in. And then you say, okay, I'm just going to step on the treadmill. I'm not even going to run. I'm just going to walk for whatever, whatever. And then you're like, well, I'm already here. I'm going to keep doing it. So my 2-minute rule is just an iteration off of that. So I was like, I'm just going to do one set. I'm going to lift for 2 minutes. And then in my head, I was like, all right, I always start all of my workouts with stretching because I think mobility is extremely important and very underrated in the workout world. So shout out to stretching. So I always start with stretching. I was like, I'm going to lift for 2 minutes. And then if I'm still tired, I'm just going to go do yoga and like a gentle flow. And I'm just going to relax because I think it's important to listen to your body. So I started lifting and then I was like, you know what? I actually have the energy to do more. So I did more. And then I was like, you know what? I actually have the energy to do more. And then I did one more. But it was always just in my head. I was like, I'm just going to do a little bit more. And then I'm going to go do yoga and relax in the thing. But then 40 minutes went by and I did my whole routine that, I have my every day of the week. I have a routine that I go through at the gym, and I did my whole routine, and it wasn't even hard. It was hard because I was lifting, but the mental component of it wasn't hard. Now contrast that sometimes. And I used to do this where I would be tired. I'm like, just push through it. You're at the gym here to work out. It's not supposed to feel good. Just do it, blah, blah, blah. And I think sometimes there's a time and a place for that sort of mental chatter where you're cheering yourself on. Hey, Jessica, for those just jumping in, I see a lot of new names. I'm talking about how to overcome kind of procrastination, but really it's more about the self-coaching that I do in my head when I don't want to do something, whether it's for my personal life or for my business, and how I just say, I'm just going to do it for 2 minutes. And sometimes the flip side of that is when you force yourself to do things, but you don't want to do it, the output is never going to be as good. In that workout this morning, if I had done the same amount of lifts, 3 sets of 10 times 3, whatever. But if I was saying, just keep going, you're lazy, you don't deserve a break, blah, 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 all of this negative, forcing myself to do it, I would have ended the workout and I would have been exhausted mentally and physically. Whereas the flip side, when I was like, I'm just going to do 2 minutes and see how it feels. And then I was like, oh, this is okay. I'm going to just do another one and then another one and then another one. I ended that workout and I was like, wow, I'm really proud of myself because I was fully prepared and like accepting of the fact that I was only going to do 2 minutes of lifting that day. And this applies to your business. I coach a lot of agents around this. Like if you don't want to jump on live, you can say, I don't want to make a 10-minute video. I'm just going to jump on for 2 minutes. Or I don't want to batch my social media content for the whole month. I'm just going to make one post. I don't want to cold call 10 people. I'm just going to cold call one person. I don't want to, whatever it is. You can just say like, what's the smallest unit that you could do that would still be beneficial to your business, but not such a big like mental load to feel like you're doing. And this the inverse of this that everyone is guilty of, I can almost guarantee it, is how many times have you pulled out your phone and you say, I'm just going to spend 2 minutes on social media. I'm just going to spend 2 minutes on TikTok. I'm just going to spend 2 minutes on Instagram. And then you look up and an hour has gone by. So it's very easy once you're in the flow of something. For me, I feel like the hardest thing is switching gears, going from I'm not working out to now I am. I'm not making content, now I am. I'm not talking to people about real estate, now I am. But once you're in that, once you're already doing the momentum, then it's not as hard as you think. Like the first step is always the hardest. So if you can trick yourself in saying, I'm just going to do 2 minutes of it, then once you're in it, you're like, okay, this is great. And you can keep going. And the big key, the second piece, hey, Christina, the second piece of this is truly giving yourself permission. Like I said, at the gym this morning, I was fully prepared to only spend 2 minutes lifting. And if I was still tired, I had a plan. I was like, okay, then I'm going to go in the other room and just do a gentle yoga flow because I want to listen to my body. And then there's no judgment. There's no, beating yourself up. There's no feeling like, oh, I should have done more. I could have done more, because I know myself that I know usually like if I'm in that 2 minute flow and I am capable, I will say, if I'm in the right physical, mental, emotional, all of those things, state of mind, then I will keep going. And if I'm not, then it's okay, because you don't need to force yourself. If you're really, really not in the mood to do something, it is better to just pause it and say, okay, I'll pick this up tomorrow. You will get 10 times as much more done in half the time if you just revisit it in a time when you are more open to doing it. So I have learned to give myself that permission, hey, I'm going to do this for 2 minutes. If it's really a no-go for me, then without guilt, I'm going to stop. And then you never have to feel like you're being unproductive again, because then you can say with pretty good certainty that even if you force yourself and push yourself, you wouldn't be productive because you tried. You dipped your toe in and your body just said, or your brain or whatever it was, you just said, hey, I'm not in this space to do that right now. So then it's like, well, why would you force yourself to do it when you wouldn't be even performing at your best anyway? So is this resonating? Drop some emojis if you're with me. If you struggle with this, if this is something that you are always someone that either procrastinates, doesn't want to do things, or when you aren't doing things, beating yourself up about it, because that is for sure something that I've had to go on a journey with myself. I'm entrepreneurial. I have very big dreams. I love helping people. I want to help a lot of people. So often if I'm like, oh, I wish I had the capacity to do more. And then sometimes that can become guilt or shame or self, whatever. So this has been a really helpful system for me on both ends. One, to really jumpstart my action taking and get me into the flow of doing the thing that I know is beneficial for my future, whether that's working or outreach or exercising or journaling or whatever it is. If just because you don't feel like it in that moment, that's not an indicator. You need to test once you start doing how it feels. So just tell yourself the takeaway, the homework assignment, next time you're feeling resistance or procrastination or whatever it is, just tell yourself, I'm just going to do it for 2 minutes. I'm just going to spend 2 minutes, writing an email to my list. I'm just going to spend 2 minutes texting people and following up with them. I'm just going to spend 2 minutes editing a YouTube video, recording a YouTube video, going to the gym, writing my novel, whatever it is. I'm just going to spend 2 minutes and then see how it feels. And if it doesn't feel good, give yourself full permission at the end of those 2 minutes to move on with your life and do something else, because you want to be showing up fully for that activity that you're doing. And most likely, in my experience, you'll be surprised. And then the 2 minutes will turn into 10, maybe 20, maybe an hour. Jordan always jokes that he does this and then he'll be in his office for like 6 hours. So, and he's right. That does happen often with him. So I hope this has been helpful. That's just my intention, to share as many tips that have worked for me and with me and my business to help as many people as possible. So remember, you are all kings and queens and abundance is your birthright. I'll see you at the top. Talk to you guys soon.